I'm Steve Gamache, back once again with another Chef Knives to Go quick look product review. So what we have is the Shibata Kotetsu R-2, what they call Battleship Gyuto, 195 millimeter. So one of the big differentiations between this and the rest of this Kotetsu R-2 product line is this different elongated shape to it, and it's been a little bit polarizing on the Chef Knives to Go forums in terms of likes and dislikes to the aesthetic of it, but let's take a look at it. So this line uses a core steel of R-2 powdered metallurgy full stainless steel at heat treat around 62, 63 Rockwell, probably more 63, a little harder. It's got great edge retention. It's a high quality stainless steel that is, reasonably easy to sharpen with good quality sharpening stones, sharpening equipment. The construction is actually a cladded multi-layer construction, so the cladding line is very subtle on these, but it's got a softer stainless cladding on either side of that R2 harder core steel, and these have enough thickness to them where they really thin them out, very skinny towards the actual edge, so they're really true full-on laser performers, but they've got enough convexing there where you get decent product separation and really pretty decent food release considering how thin the blade is. So food release really is usually exceeds what you might expect. The weight on these are pretty light. 127 grams, 4.5 ounces. Edge length about 188 millimeters on the measured edge, 7.4 inches. And the overall length about 330 millimeters or 13 inches. These knives are about 1.8 millimeters thick at the spine, pretty much all the way down. You've got that turn, that corner at the reverse sword tip. And you've got an elongated tip, so what that does is it maintains that thickness until you hit the grind, and then what they have the ability to do is get that tip really, really skinny. So the tip is elongated, and so you've got that extended taper to it. And so this tip is super skinny and super precise and just blows through, goes through like onions like you wouldn't believe. The edge is very, very thin on these. It's crazy thin. And so this is a knife you've got to watch when you rock. With rocking, you have to be really careful. It's so thin at the edge, it digs into the cutting board. And if you've got any kind of anomalies in your stroke on the rock motion, it'll start kind of pinging and tinging at you. And if it does that, if it starts squawking at you, you want to back off and really be deliberate and careful with your technique. So it's a somewhat delicate knife and feel, but once you get used to it, it's really pretty sturdy, but it's so thin at the edge, you got to have proper technique and you really got to pay attention. So just be careful with that rocking motion until you get a feel for it. You can see the contour of the grind here. You can feel it with your fingers. It's got a great grind on these babies. Let's see, blade height is 45.4, so it's not hugely tall. Handle is octagonal rosewood with a black packerwood ferrule. Really nice fit and finish on the handle, nice tight install. Handle circumference about 73 millimeters where the rosewood and the ferrule meet. They've got their kind of classic slightly swept back heel with a round curve for your finger for a spot for a pinch grip. So you've got lots of room for board clearance. Balance point is going to be just a little in front of that choil, so it's behind your pinch grip, but it's considering it's not a hoe wood handle, that's pretty good for the balance point on this. Let's take a close-up look at the blade. So they found these to be so thin that traditional hand chiseling of the kanji didn't quite work, so they use, I think it's some kind of machine, but I think they do it by hand with that machine, but they have a really high quality, whatever technique they're doing to put that into the metal, the kanji, the maker's mark. So it's very well done and it's subtle, precise, but it fits the construction of the knife. They just couldn't do hand chiseling like they wanted to. So it's very precise and nice looking, but it's a little different style. So you've got vertical finish marks on this, and Shibata-san they've done some work on the finish on these to get a finish with the right texture to improve food release. So they've worked hard to do that in their particular formula. It does work quite well. So food release is very respectable considering the thinness of the knife, and the finish does actually help. The fit and finish is great on the entire blade. Rounded polished spine, rounded polished choil, super comfortable. 7 out of 10, full-on awesome edge out of the box. This is a full-on laser. It just blows through stuff. Great on hard product. Use it on sweet potatoes. No wedging, just continuous smooth cuts all the way through. Not much cracking at all on the sweet potatoes, which can happen when you have them. Cut them in half. So it's just excellent performance all the way around. You'll have to decide whether you like that long tip or not, but what this does is give you a little bit of a sweep of a belly towards the tip versus their other offerings. So they've a little different geometry to the edge. So you've got a decent flat towards the back, and then you've got a little bit of a sweep towards the edge, so I can get up there, not a lot, but I can get up there a little bit for a little low rocking, glide, push-pull cuts. Again, that tip is super precise for small stuff and, delicate things. Let's compare this to another knife. This is mine. I've got one of those cool chef knives to go custom handles on it, but this is the 175 Bunka. So this is a taller blade, but you can see it's got their kind of traditional, more sharply angled tip to it and shape. And so you can see the edge profile is quite low, and I really can't rock this very much without digging that tip in. So it definitely has the same similar flattish half of the back of the blade, but the front is much, much lower. So let me switch back so you can take another look at it. So that's one of the big things that differentiates this, is that farther sweep on the tip lets them round that and give you a little bit more belly towards the tip. For slicing, or if you want to raise it a little bit, it'll do that for you. Let's see, size-wise, just if you're saying, what about the 175 versus this one? I'll be real careful here so I don't bung up the edges, but size-wise, they're pretty close on edges, so I'm just going to do this, and you'll kind of see it's not that big of a difference on the edge length on this. So this 175, I think it might be slightly over, and this is obviously slightly under, so the actual edge length is a little longer because of the belly on this one, but they're not, in practice, all that different on the edge length. So just FYI there for you. So this is an awesome laser performer. If the shape fits, I think it's pretty cool looking, actually. It's got kind of almost a hunting knife look to it, and this this portion of the blade, this reverse sword tip, is dead flat. You can put a ruler on it, but with the way the upswept belly goes, it almost looks like in person, like it has a little curve to it, like a hunting knife, but it doesn't. It's an optical illusion. But I think it's a pretty cool looking blade, actually. So there you have the Shibata Kotetsu R-2 Battleship Gyuto 195mm knife.